One.
Kid can't even read.
Two.
Okay, kill him!
A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Oh, good for you!
Welcome to 7 years of the CommanderSmiths.
We are the
I know,
CommanderSmiths.
I'm fucking delayed, I know. I'm Adam Smith.
I'm Lowry Smith.
Don't worry.
Doing it on purpose.
It's just like a bad
No, you're fine.
MXC where all the mouth movements are all off. But yeah, it is 7 years of the CommanderSmiths and one episode. So really, episode 365. We have been doing the podcast for a full year. If we did 365 days. That's kind of crazy to think about. 365 episodes is kind of nuts.
That is kind of crazy.
Yeah. So, and it's not getting better. Thanks, RoboCop. Yeah. So this is 7 years. We completely forgot last week.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just
how happy do you think our wives are on our anniversary?
Right. So yeah, this is 7 years here. We're not doing anything necessarily special, but what are we doing for our 7 year episode that isn't special?
Yeah.
I mean, every episode.
Well, essentially
every episode
just doing
special.
That's the reason, every day I'm happy to do a podcast on Magic.
Nice. Wah, wah, wah.
How we're doing? I don't know.
Wait, hang on.
I was going to I was gonna do like an analogy with my wife and be like, I'm happy to wake up next to my wife every day, and then I was like, I should just
stop right there.
Not and now. Nothing. But yeah, we're doing CCC Blue essentially. It's essentially the top cards in blue, Faith 5 style, with probably a bit more of like a spin on what we are doing.
Right.
Unlikely to see Counterspell on this list. Don't come at us.
Nobody
likes it. Nobody likes you if it's on your list. So it's Urza's for Life is not on this list.
Yeah, Urza's for Life.
Get out of here, Tad and Robo. I'm still hungover.
Why is that? Wait, I got to get you I got the Urza's for Life buddies. So
get the fuck
out. All right. Yeah, and then we got Stump the Smith Savant, and it is Roberto 7. See, guys, what I'm saying is,
there we go.
He's been in like 3 of the last probably 2 months, so he's getting in there. So if you haven't submitted your Stump the Smith Savant, again, you don't have to be a patron to do that. You can be somebody that doesn't support us and is just a douchebag. No, I'm just kidding. But you can email us for those as well. So you can get in there pretty easy. Again, when we get to the 3rd level, which this time we're at level 2, or not level 2, week 2, we're going to give away that Reg event at level 3. So, yeah.
Also, it doesn't have to be smart. I'm bad at this. Like, current iteration of 3-4 months, I am bad. You could probably send in Crucible of Worlds and I won't get it. That's
one that you could do the repeat of a week, back-to-back weeks, and you probably wouldn't get it. No, I'm just kidding. That's why we're making it easier.
Right.
So we can actually get past this.
Good.
Tough. Why you hung over there, Lowry? I'm drinking myself a 7th anniversary beer here.
Yeah, I'm just water. We had in real life games this weekend.
Woo!
It was a really good time. A lot of fun games.
We had 19 people show up.
Did we?
Not all at once. We had all
okay.
at once was 16. Right. That was our biggest one. So we had 4 pods going, but then we had a couple people leave and then a couple people show up later. So we had a total of 19 people that ended up showing up. So it's
a good group.
It makes me feel like you've mentioned this before. This is like on-air production, and I was meaning to say this to you. It makes me feel like we could do like a SmithCon camp out at my place, because we could put up tables and still have more space to fit groups, and it's almost like our SmithCon. Like SmithCon.
I'm glad that you feel like you have to talk to me about this instead of your wife. But
I actually did mention it to Cindy. She was like, "Oh yeah." But if we did that, then she would not be here for that. That would be a kids are going to the cabin weekend, and then it's just a bunch of dudes.
Bunch of dudes.
Dudes just hanging out in tents,
cooking brats, huge sausage party,
and then maybe playing Magic. But yeah, so I mean that was that worked out really well. We still had a lot more room. There were lots of games there was lots of beverages. You and I and Alex stayed up until, I thought it was 3:30, but you're right. I think it was like 4:30 when we went to bed.
Our game was done by 3:30, and Alex was sleeping by around that. Yeah. But we stayed up and talked.
Okay, yeah. It's
that
part's a blur to me at this point.
Yeah. Then you tucked me in.
I remember.
You went to bed by 4. You tucked me in, and then I went poop.
Oh, okay.
So it's
half an hour. But yeah, was there any notable games we get any? We got a couple games in together besides the ending. I got to play Tom Bombadil when I was hammered, which was nice.
Yeah, no, it wasn't on nice. Jesus.
At least I didn't get anxiety.
If you thought Adam's turns were long when he's sober. Just don't play Tom Bombadil when you're drinking. Drunk.
You can
do it when you're drinking.
I thought I got the triggers pretty good, but maybe.
Yeah, nobody knew though. Like I didn't know what you were doing. You were just like mumbling to yourself.
I win the game.
You're like, oh, I have hexproof. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so I
that's gone. Why? I don't know. This thing. I got another dragon. It's a legendary dragon, right? Oh yeah, you're right. I don't have 2 of them.
That's right. I forgot about all that. This is stupid. But then when one died, then I got 14 treasure tokens. Remember? That's
you did.
It was like,
which basically turned into infinite mana, and so we. That just made it longer.
Tom he's a fun guy. Makes me stressed. But yeah, so I had notable games, but not like nothing sticking out in my head. Not that they weren't. We had a lot of people, a lot of listeners, a lot of I should say a lot of patrons. Oh, yeah. I should say
it's just people that have been around for a long time too.
Not only did we do that, but Tad, who is on here right now, is we did a couple Magic games that we're going to be doing, game shows, kind of Magic trivia. There we go. Magic trivia stuff that actually is one of them is going to come out before High Commander, because High Commander is going to take a lot longer. I can get one of those other things edited. So one of them we did was passwords, which basically this it's gonna be hard to explain, but you get a clue of, like, let's say one of them was mountain, which I don't know. I need to talk about this one. One of them was tap, and I
don't ruin. Yeah, maybe we can tell it when it's coming out. That's fine. We don't need to embarrass me multiple.
Let's just say that Lowry got it was supposed to be tapped, right? It was supposed to be, yeah. And you,
or did I was able to guess tap.
Yeah, and then like, you can change it, and you
have to be basically exact, and so it's you get another chance, but you only have like 5 seconds,
and you only change it to one thing, and you have been drinking already by that point,
right? No, and I was feeling good.
You changed it to tappy, like it's supposed to be a magic term, and you changed it to tappy.
Those came to my head. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fantastic. But yeah, we played that.
So Tad is the host, and it was a lot of fun. Thanks for setting
we had Mr. Anderson and number 2 on for the first game show there. We're going to be doing more of that too. And then we had initials, except it's called Magic Initials. That one's a little bit tougher.
Magicianals.
Yeah,
I don't
remember
know.
it sounded like
Tad practiced it a lot more. It sounds better when he says it.
Magicials.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. Magicials, maybe?
Mm.
No, we gotta work that one. Tappy for life is what Tad just said.
I'm all right with that.
But that one's interesting. Not gonna spoil who won that. We did have some hiccups with mic stuff, so then we had to redo. We just had to do a new game. So there were different winners in both. Not the we lost in password. Spoiler.
You said you were so.
The first game we lost.
Right.
The one that will be on camera. We'll see. We were getting our ass kicked. I'll tell you that, and there was a major comeback in that one. So. But yeah, we got to play that. That was a lot of fun. And then game wise, do you have any games?
I probably have two. One that Tad is talking about. I had repercussion on the field. I was playing my Wolverine deck, and
it does work.
I had a 5/5 first striker out, and Tad had like a 10/10 first striker, and then so he was basically swinging in. Tad was swinging in to kill me and Ramsey, and I blocked with Wolverine. Both, like everything, so that I was going to take the damage anyway, right? But his creature had first strike. My creature had first strike. So we died before Ramsey died.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
And then so Ramsey won that game.
Yeah,
it was pretty funny.
He didn't do anything there. It was you two attacking each other. And the first,
so the repercussion just dealt the damage to each other on first strike damage, and that was game done.
It's funny.
And then another game, real quick. I do want to say, it was a game with myself, Ramsey, Guy, and Alex. And Guy was playing Necrosar. He turned 2 Waste Not, turn 3 Wheel of Misfortune into a what was it? It was Shielder the Apocalypse to Fury's Puzzle Box.
Gross.
And I think me and Alex just
scooped.
Yeah. Well, because I didn't even know what Ramsey was doing, but he had 2 Smothering Tides out already at that point too. So he had maybe he only had 1, but he had 14 to 21 treasures at that point as well. I didn't even know that, but we were just scooping. It was going to be over.
Yeah.
I felt kind of bad. We should have probably talked about it a little bit. So it was amazing, Guy. It was crazy. But there was I literally just had 2 land in play, and
so
it was brutal.
It was at the very beginning of the game. Then you're saying?
Yeah. It was turn 3. I only had 2 lands out at that point.
Yeah, at that point,
I was about to lose 14 wheel, and I didn't know what I was going to get.
Right.
And so it was just this thing's fucking over.
There's no coming back from that.
Yeah. But the next one, we just basically shuffled up. He switched out Nekasar, brought in something else. I'm not going to work too hard at it. But end of the game, I had a good setup. I had Niv Mizzet Visionary. I had it, so that's whenever an opponent takes non-combat damage, you draw that many cards.
Yep. The new
I had
Niv.
Zozu the Punisher out for whenever a land comes into play, that player takes 2 damage that put it into play. Thusly, when they put a land into play, I draw 2 cards. Then I had, there's a 3 mana 0/4 that whenever you draw your second turn your second card per turn, you get to deal 3 damage to any target. And so I draw 2, deal 3 damage to Alex because he's whooping. He has that Vampire of Hightower.
Oh yeah.
And
Haunt,
so that
Haunt
thing's
of High Tower or whatever.
Yeah. So that thing's a 50-50 at this point. He's gonna one-shot me with a Commander's Plate the next turn. And so Ramsey goes 2 damage. I draw 2 cards, deal 3 damage to Alex in the face. And then so I've drawn 5 at that point. Guy, same thing, draw another 5. And then Alex does the same thing, 5. I have 20 cards in my hand at that point. And I had just played a currency converter. I know there's a lot of just card names here.
What does currency converter do?
It's a 1 mana artifact. Whenever you discard a card, you can exile it under currency converter.
And then
if it's a land, you can remove it and get a land or a treasure. And if it's something else, you get a 2/2.
Okay.
In a Haunt of Hightower, when it attacks, I would have to discard a card. I had no mana, completely out. And so I'm like, oh, I discard a land, create a treasure. I have Firestorm in hand, which it's one red,
yeah, and then you
instant
sacrifice.
Discard as many cards
or
as
is it discard?
Or whatever. I just discarded my hand. I had 20 cards that I discarded. And so I was able to deal 20 damage to 20 targets, which killed Alex, which put Guy to 6, Ramsey to 4-ish. I'm not quite sure what he was going to live though too. And then it would have been wiping the board, killing everything. And I think what they just kind of scooped because I still had a board. And then after everybody had basically picked up, I realized that I would have drawn out.
Oh, and died
before I could kill anybody else because I would have drawn 60 cards. And so I definitely killed Alex.
They scooped. They scooped. It's a win.
It would have been 6-4 with nothing going on, whatever was in their hand. But yeah, Firestorm was amazing.
That's awesome. They got
visionary.
I like that.
But it was all just super.
That.
If he wasn't forcing me to like discard, I would have never gotten the mana to be able to like. I drew 15 to be able to get the card. It was all super unlikely, and it was pretty funny. So. I'm sorry.
That's
Alex.
Pretty good. I guess my only one that and they fucking made fun of me on this one, but I played my will deck that didn't do will things at all because we were in a 5-player pod and 2 people were playing Rakdos. Jeremy was playing Mogus, and who was the other one? Was that it was fucking Alex. So Alex is the one that was like, "Oh, you won, you bitch."
He's a problem.
Yeah. But they both played anti-gain life. Like Mogus, he played the one card that if you gain life, you lose that much life. And then Alex, on top of that, played his commander, which is you can't gain life, or opponents can't gain life. And I was like, God damn it, I can't do anything. This game sucks. So all I did for the first like 6 or 7 turns was just ramp, make sure I had blockers out. I played Will the second to last turn and did not use his ability. I think that's the first time I played Will and did not use his ability at all, but I still won.
So you just had to play fair magic and you didn't like it.
Well, I still won.
Instead of fucking broken magic. Will might be your best deck. That deck is fucking insane. So I'm happy to hear you did not enjoy that game.
I won the game because then I played all will be one. Not all will be one. It's all the
That's
blue.
Stupid. I don't even like this story anymore.
The blue card that allows you to play. You can look at the top of your library and you can play spells from the top of your library, and you can play one
with
spell.
the multiverse or something.
Yeah, something like that might be one with the. That's it. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
But I was able to play the Pegasus one where I get as much as my life total. So I had 39 Pegasus. And of course, I always have an answer. So I had, they kept trying to wipe it. And I'm like, protection from everything or phase out, blah, blah, blah. Not Teferi's protection. I used the Convoke one and all that. And I ended up fucking, oh yeah, here we got another Tappy for life. I think that's going to be a new hashtag Tappy for life. I think I'm going to get the Taparoo, Adam Sandler, Tappy. I'm writing it down to make a button for this. But yeah, so that was, I ended up winning, but that's because I had so many Pegasus, like they couldn't deal with it. I'd wipe one. I took out Ramsey. I just kept each turn taking one player out at a time. And then eventually it was game over. But yeah, that's my most notable one. Otherwise it was just good games. I miss playing in real life games. It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, I was, we know that we're going to talk about in real life games the couple times per year that we do get to do it, and like it just felt like a montage of just sitting around. Like it felt like a gangster movie from the 80s where everybody's sitting around a table all night drinking and just laughing and telling stories. That's what it feels like, but just magic and no gangster shit. That's,
I mean, magic's gangster. Don't worry about it.
No,
it's pretty gangster.
It's not.
All right, let's get to this damn episode. All right, really quick, you guys can support the CommanderSmiths. The one way you guys can support us, you guys clicked on this damn video or you're listening to it, just give us a like. That's one way you guys can support us. It's free. It does help us out if you're watching us. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, do so. That also helps us. The other ways you guys can support us, As you can see over, nope, let's see, point the finger that way, right down there, pointing right there. We have the foil chrome Mox raffle going. We are at $50 right now. When we hit 140, we will do the raffle. And whenever we hit that, we will take a Malort shot. Why not hit it tonight? It's freaking our 7-year anniversary. It's a long ways to go, so I don't know if we can get there tonight. But as soon as we hit that, we will take a Malort shot. And then the next cast, we will have a new one up. A new raffle to give away. So that kind of is financially supporting us a little bit. I mean, it really is just giving away stuff there, but really the financial way you guys can support us is just join the Discord. $1 gets you in. That's all you need to do is $1. If you want to get proxies, I'll just show the Ink Moth that it's up for grabs for the Stump the Smith. You can get proxies each month if you so choose. A bunch of everybody's proxies orders just went out today. So those of you that were waiting for January stuff finally got those out. But that we give that a little bit of patron perks right there. Some other things we're going to be changing a little bit here. The tier system is coming back for patrons. So we're changing, instead of actually selling our playmats, they're all going to be giveaways for different tiers. So as you get donated or throughout your lifetime of donating to us, you're going to get rewards. We've already had that with the regular and the Kill the Smiths, but we're going to add our ones that have our... Hang on, let me grab it. The one that has Lowry and I on it, like this. That little guy there and there. Those are going to be another level thing. So we're going to be changing some things up there. So we're just like playmats. That's going to be our thing for our patrons. So that's the only way you're going to be able to get those. You can't buy them. We used to have them. You could buy them at one point. So there's a few people that have them. But other than that, everybody else is going to be, it's all going to be a tier system thing. So the other way you guys can support us is just watch our stuff. Watch our things on there. Like I said, we're going to have the Magic Trivia stuff coming out. High Commanders coming out. There's all that stuff. I think that's, and our store. That's the last thing. That's financially you can support us, because then it also, everything that we get from you guys goes right back in the show. But our mugs, why don't you show the one that it actually the right color, Larry? You have the red one, right? The Yeti mugs right there. It doesn't have the Kill the Smith on it. It has this thing on the orange one that I have here. It has that. Yeti mugs. We have the metal tokens. That's all on the eBay thing. Everything's below in the link if you're watching, or if you're listening, it's also in the details there. So that's everything. If you need to get a hold of us, you can either message us on the Discord or shoot us an email at CommanderSmiths@gmail.com. So let's get to it, Lowry. It is time. Oh, wait, you know what? I wanted to hit up polls. All right, I got to figure out. This is a long name.
Yep.
But you are
slid.
Tad, do you want to play a game? It said. Tad, do you want to play a game? Who is that one, though? SLID. Somebody donated something, and I got to find out who that is. So every $1, again, that you guys put in. Oh, is it Ansel? Chicago, see you later. Did you guys organize a cup? Okay. I just want to know the name of the person that just donated so I can get your name.
I don't believe we did.
What?
Did anybody get in contact with you about Chicago Secret Lair?
No, I had no one said that.
I didn't either.
I was hoping to.
It was Anderson.
Oh, it was Anderson? Okay, Anderson.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, every $1 that you donate goes to this. You get one ticket, so basically 1 point to 40. So for every $1 it goes to that. Anderson. Sorry, let me just write it down quick so I don't forget it. Okay, I did want to hit up the poll thing.
Oh, did we do the unbanning poll?
Yeah. So last week when we talked about everything, the bracket system, and we talked about the unbans and stuff like that, we threw up 4 cards that we wanted to see what you guys thought would be unbanned first. And Larry, where do you think this went? Because this is actually might be a surprise. So we had not Jewel Lotus. No, yeah, it was Jewel Lotus. Shit, I want to do this without you knowing. Jewel Lotus, Biorhythm. I think I had Monocrypt and Coalition Victory. Which one do you think got the most votes?
Red Crypt or something stupid.
Actually, you're gonna be surprised with this one. Coalition Victory got 40% of the votes.
That's what I would have guessed if you weren't being fucking whatever you're doing.
I gave you a guess. I said guess.
You thought I'd be surprised? No, that's exactly what I would have chosen. That or Biorhythm. Those
Yeah.
are the two obvious. Like they are the most obvious ones in my opinion.
So Coalition Victory got 40% of the votes. Jewel Lotus got 30%. Monocrypt at 19%, and Biorhythm at 11%. So a lot of you guys think that Coalition should be the first thing that gets unbanned. So we'll see. I mean, it's a really high CMC.
And I think people agree with your Jeweled Lotus thing because of it's only played in Commander.
Yeah.
So
all right, let's get to the beer and pizza of this episode here. So it is Core Cards for Commander Blue Edition. I don't remember. Did I go first or you go first on the last one? Let me see.
Since you lost the last one, you can go first.
Lost the last
The last
one.
tournament.
Who went?
You lost that.
Yeah, way to rub it in, you douchebag. I do have.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it's like
No,
losing, so I'm not meaning to.
You're
rub it
going
in.
first. You're going first. I went first on Great Henge. Great Henge was the number 1 overall pick. So you get to go first.
I was better about it. All right. Is there anything that I can make you feel bad about?
No.
Probably not. I mean, I don't really want to talk about the two that are on your.
Well, okay.
you
Should
put
we
on
go
the-
over really quick? These don't necessarily mean these are the best card.
Right.
Like these are the ones that we think that should be in your toolbox. Should be the ones that you use. Should be. I guess it's kind of like the game changer list in a way ish. Kind
In
of.
a way, they
Yeah.
stole that
The
from
idea.
us for
Again,
sure.
Stop following.
sure.
Like, if you're following us, Wizards, just like let us know that you are instead of doing all these like,
Right.
cryptic
I would.
crap.
We will gladly give you any of our IP. I have no problem with it.
Yeah, the Hello Boobies. I mean, that's not
Yep.
really ours, but
Please.
it is. Malort stuff, not really ours, but you can have it. But anyways. Okay, so Lowry, it's basically the cards that we think that you should have in your toolbox that get used a lot. Like these go in a lot of our decks. So it isn't going to be necessarily like that. Like Lowry mentioned earlier, you're not going to see a counterspell in ours because we don't play with counterspells. So you're not going to see that picked here. At least I don't think I'm not picking it, and you kind of mentioned that already. So this is more of our list of cards that we think that we love to play with, that we play a lot of these. So, Lowry, take it away.
Okay. This first pick is just going to be, it's the solid cantrip. It's the one that I use the most, but it can represent Ponder and Brainstorm as well. But Preordain, just a blue sorcery, scry 2, draw a card. It's simple. It smooths out everything. It's better than just a cantrip because you get all that bonus stuff there. I mean, it's cheap. It's printed in a ton of the precons. But I like cheap cantrips that do a lot of work, if that makes sense. And so I never skip this in a deck. And I normally pair this with Ponder. And Brainstorm kind of gets left off the table unless it's like a draw theme. So whenever you draw a card, because that's going to be able to trigger at instant speed and more times. And so but they're all really important. You don't want too many of them, but 3 is probably the right kind. But I mean, there's a bunch of different variants on it as well if you want to go less powerful. But I think it's really important to have at least some flavor of Preordain within your blue decks.
Mm-hmm. I dig it. All right, so
What is it? Are you going in order? I never go in order. God.
I'm going to go on cards that I think that you could take away from me, so I'm going to do that instead.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to do Sakashima of 1,000 Faces.
I'm glad you did that. I was not sure
Let me get that up
if
there.
you would, but I think I was going to get there too.
Yeah, let me get it up here just so I can get it on. Okay, so we both liked Helm of the House because you could use that in multiple decks, and why not have
that was more you.
multiple? Oh, whatever. We did, and then it went away because it's just a lot. But I love Sakashima because it's 4-drop. It removes that legendary rule. It gives you a second copy of your commander. It's a fantastic card. Like, I mean, you could do a couple of things in here. I do have on my list, and I think this falls in the same category, but like Spark Double and the other Sakashima, those all fall in line with this. I think this one's the best one of the bunch. just because it removes that legendary rule. And it can be a partner. So if you want to do partner commander, it could also be with the other commander as well. So it just, you're playing commander, you're playing your commander. It's more often than not, your commander is even better if you have a second one of that. So I put this in a lot of decks in blue.
I think a lot of people use Roaming Throne in this way to have their commander trigger multiple times.
Yes. Yep. That's a good point.
Sakashima is that.
Yeah.
And so it just doesn't have the protection, I guess,
Yeah.
that Roaming Throne does. But I agree. Sakashima is a fantastic card. If you like your commander and if you want more of them, you're good to go.
Yep. And this is an 88,000 EDH rec deck. So that's another. I didn't know preordains in a shit ton, so I didn't have that one in
it doesn't matter.
my list. So, but that one is way up there. All right, Larry, what is your second overall pick?
And this is probably my dark horse, but it's I think in every blue deck that I have, it is in my opinion, the best blue protection non-counterspell, I guess, but it's Spellskite.
Yep, I have that there too.
Two colorless 04, pay a blue Phyrexian, and change the target spell or ability to Spellskite. It's a great blocker at the beginning. It saves whatever you want from any pinpoint removal as long as it can target Spellskite. It's free to a degree. It's an artifact. It's recurable. It's just fantastic. It stops auras on your opponent's stuff. I love it. It always comes down before your commander in your blue deck. That's another reason why I like Spellskite so much.
Maybe this is a quick pause to talk about what we meant to talk about when we did Stump the Smith Savant last week, and talking about color identity, because this is a good good spot to hit it, because the card itself is an artifact, but because of that blue Phyrexian, it is a colorless card, but the color identity of this card is blue. So if you guys listened to Stump the Smith last week, we talked about what was it was a swamp. So yes, the swamp itself is colorless, and that's where
there was confusion a little bit on what's going on.
Yeah, but the color identity is actually black because of what it produces. It taps to produce a black land, and then we also talked about. You actually pointed out something to me. Why don't you talk about that? Because we know already fetches that you can do fetches in any color deck. That doesn't matter.
Right. So like people don't like off-color fetches because it's against like the spirit of the game to a degree. But they don't have a mana symbol on the card per se. They say plains and they say mountain or whatever too. Those don't count as a mana symbol, thusly not color identity. So you can use your fetches, but also you have Urborg and you have Amaya.
And I did not realize that until we were talking.
You just don't listen to me because that's why that's a part of why I like Yavimaya so much.
But you don't play it in any other deck. It has to
have the green you're right. But both of those turn everything into swamps or everything into forests, but it does not have a mana symbol in it. You can technically put that in any deck. Those are colorless color identity. And so what you want to do is you're looking for mana symbols anywhere on the card that gives it the color identity.
That isn't in parentheses.
Right.
That's
and so
the big
technically, again, when we're looking at Spellskite here, it has the Phyrexian blue and a blue within parentheses. Technically, those don't count. And so, but we have blue in the activation in the real part of the card. And so the point to look at is Extort. Extort has a hybrid mana symbol of black or white, but when they're stating Extort, it's in the parentheses of what Extort is doing.
I'll pull up Blind Obedience just so.
So that little hybrid black-white does not count towards your color identity of the cards. So if it's Blind Obedience, this is white color identity. Extort has the rules for it, but the rules is a reminder text, not part of the card.
Right.
And so it does have the black-white hybrid within it. And there's
But
only like one other card that has it. It's like black blue from Tempest. I don't even remember. It's something about a choker. So it's extort is whatever the card is in the mana symbols up above in the CMC. So that's really the only major example of stuff in a parentheses where it could really fuck with people. And Mark Rosewater did that on purpose because he wants hybrid mana to be able to be used anywhere, but he didn't want to make extort less usable.
Yeah.
So he was kind of like playing with the rules and fucking with the rules committee, basically. So that's where that is.
All right.
And so when we're in Stump the Smith Savant, we are taught, I normally almost always am specifying color identity so that it does allow artifacts.
Because we're talking about commander, so it's basically cards that you can play in those commander decks, like what the proper colors and everything. So that was just a clarification. I forgot that I had that note on my paper, but that was a good spot to put it in because Spellskite has that little.
So Spellskite is a blue card in my opinion when it comes to commander. That is a blue color identity. And it comes with all of that good stuff right there. And
to give you even a better point, and not that it matters about what I do, but in my binders for sorting, it's in my blue section. Yes, it's in my blue section where I have artifacts, but it's a color identity blue. So it just makes it so that when I'm building a blue deck and I'm looking at my blue cards, I'm like, oh yeah, Spellskite, obviously putting that in there. So
that's how I sort my cards.
Right. Yep.
So
yeah, if it has color in it, then it goes into the proper spot. All right. Okay. So the Spellskite was your number 2. My next one, I don't think you're going to pick that one, so I probably have time on that one. But I think you will pick this one. So I'm going to grab this one right now. So Archmage Emeritus.
Not on my list.
What was that?
Not on my list.
Oh, it isn't on your list? Oh, I thought you'd get that in there. Okay, so 2 colors, 2 blue. Has Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. Pretty self-explanatory of it. But the thing that they've been doing a lot more is making the copy stuff. This works with Storm really well because the copies count. A lot of times you have cards that just say, whenever you cast, draw a card or whatever. This having the cast or copy, it's probably one of the best draws for blue if you're doing a spell slinger type of deck, and really good in Storm and really good in Storm the deck itself because you're getting all those copies, you're getting all that you can draw off of all of that. It is in 194,000 EDH rec decks, and this sucker's Strixhaven, so that's only almost 3 years old at this point, right? Isn't that 3 years ago at this point? So to be in that many decks is kind of insane in that short of time. But yeah, I love this card. It goes in. I wouldn't say
at this point
every blue deck, but it's every spell slinger blue deck for sure. You know.
Right. That and that's why it didn't make my list, is because if it's fitting into a very specific archetype of. And
blue,
and maybe it's
blue
good
is
enough outside of
blue is a very spell slingy no matter what you're doing pretty much.
Right, but I do want it to be, I don't want it to be spell heavy, I want it to be spell slingy. I want like 20 instances sorceries in there. You know what I mean? Or an ability to make a bunch of copies when I do cast instants. So that's where it's just kind of like, for me, it's not in a majority of my blue decks, if that makes sense. But it is very good. I agree. It's a great card, and like you're saying, a lot of blue decks are spell heavy, and so for a lot of people, this would be in their top 5.
Yep,
for sure.
So all right. What is your next one? So far, I did have Spellskite, but it wasn't on one that I was gonna pick. It's just in my big list. So we have no overlay. I haven't stolen one from me yet, Lau.
I think I'm going to make sure that at least I'm gonna pick one of the tab, and I'm gonna hope you pick the other. But I'm gonna go Cyclonic Rift.
Oh, you're doing it. Oh, I wasn't even gonna do it because I don't use it anymore. No, but I mean it's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's good. So
we have the parameter at the beginning where we're saying it should be in the toolbox. It's some of the best cards. And it is one of those cards. Cyclonic Rift if you don't know what it does, we know what it does.
Yeah.
Let's. That's the thing. Is like you don't even have to explain
game
the
changer.
card.
It's our first
We
game
know what
changer
it is.
on the
It's a
list.
game changer.
Yeah.
And this is how you always put it. Even though we may not play it anymore, it is one of the best catch-all answers in the game. It is just like, my deck is lacking in this, you just want to make the deck better. You put Cyclonic Rift in there, and your deck will do better.
Yep.
You will automatically cut a worse card.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter what you choose. You could fucking blind pick, and it's the right choice.
Right. Even your commander. No, I'm just kidding. No, but
so that's the thing, is like why we are playing it less and less and less, because it is too good and it becomes too repetitive, and so there are those parts of the game where you don't want things to be too consistent. You don't want things to feel too samey.
Yeah.
And so like that's kind of where I'm at, but I will accept that this is a top 5 card in blue and not be mad
the thing
about
is like you mentioned, the reason why when this would go in decks is, like you said, if I was like, I don't have any enchantment removal, or I don't have any this removal, this was the thing that I'd be like, okay, well, I'm lacking that, let's get rid of this, and now I'm covered. At least I have an answer for everything. Like, that's the thing, is if you build a deck and you don't have a piece of removal that can hit everything in the game, you know what I'm saying? Like, not everything. The thing doesn't need to hit everything. You just need to have like enchantment removal or just permanent removal, really is what you really need. Right. If you have something where you're just like, I can't touch artifacts, and then you go against an artifact deck that's like, you can no longer play spells, then you're just like, well, then I'm done unless somebody else. You don't want to feel like that, where it's hopeless. Your deck has no answers. Right. So this would be.
And I think we put ourselves in a bit of a corner too, because we don't play counterspells.
Yeah.
And so that is generally a way that blue is going to deal with kind of anything.
Right.
And since we don't do that, Cyclonic Rift was really important to the game plan.
Yep.
But now, like,
there's enough other things
because we're saying
out there
now, but Cyclonic Rift has been a problem for a decade plus.
Right.
Whenever it was printed, it just becomes more and more there.
I would just say that there's more, as they keep creating more and more sets, there's more and more, there's other things you can use.
Options.
Yeah, exactly. So
Flood of Tears is pretty good.
Yeah.
If I'm saying it right. But like, there's some really cool cards out there now.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm actually glad you got it on there. So I'll do the other one. That's basically our tag. So the next one is going to be Rhystic's Study. So I'm doing draw stuff here. Rhystic's.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's actually one I had starred. So come on, Rhystic, get up there. Oh, my computer's just thinking. All right, so Rhystic's Study is in 691,000 EDH rec decks. So this sucker's used quite a bit, but just 2,000 more than Cyclonic Rift. I didn't realize that. But probably one of the best draws in the game. I mean, it's enchantment, so it's a little bit harder to get rid of. 2 and 1 blue, and whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may draw a card unless that player plays one. Funny thing is, when we were playing in real life games, it's been a little bit since we played not recording, because the last time we played was recording the new decks for High Commander. The last time we played like big games, it's been a while, so then somebody had Rhystic, and I completely like forgot. I was like, isn't it only when I do cast a creature spell? Or no, it wasn't. But it was something I was just like, oh god, I should know Rhystic, but we don't play it as much
everything
anymore.
All the time.
I haven't been putting this in as many decks lately, but
yeah,
we always say with Rhystic, if you're lacking the draw, fucking put it in there. It's that good. It's another game changer. So back to back, who the heck plays blue? Who's Digital Squid? Freaking nerds. Nice. Blues for D-gens right there. But yeah, Rhystic Study. It's just one of the best draws in the game. You're gonna draw a shit ton of stuff.
Right. Well, we knew these two were gonna get the hate, and these are the two that like are way up there. That just feels like they definitely give your deck a boost if you feel like for us at least, if you feel like they're not getting there, they just kind of give it a little boost. It's an easy out for sure. And like you're saying, we're not really using them nearly as much the last few years. Yeah. So, But for people that are new to the game, if you're frustrated with this, it's because they're good cards.
Yep.
And
expensive as shit too. So
yeah.
All right, Mr. Do, don't curse in this Christian podcast. Digital Squid has some jokes there. All right, Lowry, what is your fourth overall? You got 2 more picks left.
Yeah. Okay. So like this is where it's like I know there's a lot of hate for some of this stuff, but I'm gonna probably more lean into stuff that I like versus what everybody else likes. And so like for me, I'm a big graveyard player, and it doesn't even mean that I need to like filling it up or whatever, but I always like to have my option of being able to pull from the graveyard a little bit in every deck. And so in blue, my favorite card that pulls from the graveyard is Emery,
or Lurker of the Lock.
Yeah, Lurker of the Lock. There we go.
Is it Emery?
And so Emery just,
or is it with a Y?
EMRY.
Okay, I
Because
gave it.
What? That was a Jim Carrey thing, right?
It was.
Right? Okay.
That's the PARTY because I gotta. Emery's not coming up. Wait, isn't it ERY? Oh, it's just
EMRY.
Oh, okay. Emery Lurk. There we go.
So this is basically affinity for artifacts. It's always blue. 1/2 ETBs, mill 4 cards. Tap, choose an artifact card from your graveyard, and you may cast that card this turn. Now there are some combos with it, but in blue, it really synergizes with artifacts already. So you have like Wayfarer's Bauble, you have Commander's Sphere, you have cards that you're sacrificing for value in blue. And it almost always feels like a great card, because then I can always ramp with Wayfarer's Bauble or always draw with Commander's Sphere. Like every turn, if I have extra mana just to gain some value out of it, it's almost always 1 blue. And so it's, the part where you're milling 4, I don't care about that. I don't get as upset about mill, especially when I'm milling myself. But in this kind of deck, or just in really any kind of deck, it allows you to gain value from your graveyard. And that's why I like it so much. This is probably, I don't know how many blue decks I have, but I have 20 decks, and this is in at least 6 of them. And so,
good for you.
Okay. All right. But I think, if you're feeling like you're running out of things to do, that's why I include graveyard stuff, is because it always gives you something to do, especially when it comes at a consistent cost. So like, I understand that putting cards into play from the graveyard is really good, but something like Phyrexian Reclamation in black, I really, really like that kind of card because it stays in play and you can consistently do it. And there are different versions of that you can put them into play as well. But anything that I can consistently do and do every turn if I have open mana, I like that. And that's why I like Emery so much. So
I dig it. I think I haven't put it in any decks only because it's kind of what you were saying with the Archmage, is like, that's a spell slinger. This feels like I have to be playing an artifact deck, but you don't necessarily, because your rocks get blown up all the time. Like that,
right?
If you're playing with enough mono rocks and all that stuff, they're gonna go to the graveyard. People hate on it, and this is good. But I think that's why I haven't done it, because if I would play it, I'm thinking in my head, it needs to be in an artifact themed deck, but it really doesn't. If you're playing 15, 20 artifacts, 15 even is fine.
10.
Yeah.
Honestly, because the difference between this and Archmage Emeritus is that
don't try to justify how this is. Don't even try to judge.
I'm showing the difference, though, is that
mine is better and yours is worse.
Draw into those instants and sorceries, to whereas all you need is 1 for Emery, and then you can continually do it because it loops itself. And Archmage always needs something new, so you need to draw into it, and so that's the big difference. And I guess you can say if somebody graveyard hates on you, Emery is bad, but yeah, I would agree with that.
I can dig it. I don't know how many decks because this wasn't on my list, so
Yeah.
Suck it.
That's cool. That's all right. That's okay.
All right. Oh shit. I have
You win more than me.
2 that I gotta pick now. There's one I want to pick that I don't think, I use it a lot, but I don't know how well. I'm gonna get that one last. We'll see. I'm gonna get one that you could potentially get. But Fairy,
I do want to bring up. I forgot about this one for Lucas during the games. There were 3 Gisellas of Gold Knight that happened and all got removed in succession, like Tyson's deck.
Wait,
what got the removed? One that doubles damage for them?
Oh yeah, I heard.
So there was 3 in play.
Yeah.
That was a bonkers one. I think they all got removed, and then Lucas played the 4-mana Gisella.
Yeah. Okay, so Fairy Mastermind. I think this one's a fantastic card. It's in 145,000 EDH rec decks. You can kind of tell a theme on mine. A lot of my shit is just based on draw. I'm like draw. But it has the flash, so at least the first time you can get that extra draw. But whenever an opponent draws their second card, each turn you draw a card, and then you can force everybody to draw a card by tapping 4. This is just, it's great. It's a great draw for blue. It doesn't have the downside of making you discard, which blue likes to do a lot of. The flash thing is kind of nice because you can potentially, like I just mentioned, get that first trigger right away, So, and in our play group, especially if I'm playing a game with you, you and I both are very heavy on draw. So when it's Lowry's turn, I'm most likely going to get that draw off of him. But if you're building good decks, you should have a lot of draw. Like that's really what your deck should do, unless you're tutoring for stuff. But even if you're tutoring, I think you should still have a lot of draw in your deck. So I think this has a lot of play. It's 2 years old at this point, and it's in just as much as the other cards. One of the highest EDH rec decks, at 145,000. So it gets used a lot, and that's why it's a $20 card at this point. So
yeah, and I kind of put this on the level of like something like Ledger Shredder as well, where it's like whenever somebody plays 2 spells.
That was my other one too. Yep.
And so I won't say Ledger Shredder.
Yeah.
I only got one more anyway. But yeah, both of those at 2 mana that gain you some sort of advantage. They're both very, very good cards. Flying, so the evasion, you're going to get in little dinks and dunks and gain a lot of advantage on those. Those are really good.
I just wish the art was better. Like I know it's supposed to be, what is it? It's supposed to be after somebody or whatever.
Yeah, it's down below. I can't read it with fuzzy, but
Yuta Takashi, whatever. Kid can't even world championship champion.
She can't even read.
Thank you, but yeah, they need to get a secret layer of this bad boy, and I will buy the crap out of it. But anyway,
that'd be sweet.
All right, Lowry, you're on your last pick. What is your last?
There are some really good ones. I don't want to name them off because I'm not sure what you're going to be doing. Again, this is another one of my favorites that I play a lot of. This might be in 4 or 5 of my decks. It's Grazilax.
You
gotta spell it out on your own.
No, Graz,
Grazilaxx.
You do like playing this guy a lot.
You do too?
No, you do.
Me?
You do.
Yeah, I do. Fucking, I love this one. Illithid Scholar, 1 and 2 blue. I'll read this one because I understand that nobody likes me. 1 and 2 blue, 3/2 horror. Whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may return it to its owner's hand, and then whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card.
Yeah.
So damage to each player, you can draw up to 3 if you're playing a 4-pod, which is solid. And it allows you to be really, really aggressive, and it allows you to replay those ETBs if a creature gets blocked. Because if they get blocked, you can return it to your hand. Doesn't matter if it's going to die or not. It feels very much like Reconnaissance, which is one of my favorite white cards.
Yeah.
And so it's
spoiler alert for white when we get to white.
Maybe it might make it. I haven't made the
white has a lot of good shit, man.
White CC list by any means.
Yeah.
But it feels like a really, really good card. I like it too. And I know this is weird, but It's not like a Coastal Piracy where it's every creature dealing damage or
Right.
a Toski.
It's a little bit more fair, a little bit. You have to
Right.
But you're
right.
getting
So
that block ability, like you said. You're getting that bounce, which is kind of a unique thing in itself there too.
And so it doesn't like have you draw a ton of cards and overwhelm your opponents with card draw. That's something. It's a hard balance to have because sometimes you do too much of it, and that's fine. And you can overtake a game if that's what you're going for. Great. And for me, I'm trying to find a really nice balance where I never lack something to do. That's my goal. It's not to need a reliquary tower. It's to make sure that I'm having 6 to 8 cards in hand all the time. That's my goal. And so this is a card that really does well for me. I love it. And again, it's in a bunch of my decks. It makes my decks pretty well. If you have any sort of theme that has like like flying decks would be really good. Your Merfolk decks would really like this because a lot of them have Island Walk themed. And so
I mean, but at the
just try it and let me know.
At the same point, like, it doesn't have to be an evasive. I mean, yeah, you get the draw because then you attack 3 different players, you get 3 draws off of it. But at the same point, what you're saying is it has that bounce. Like there's that
right.
You can one just from the first Modern Horizons, the one that it's the enchantment. It's like 1 blue, 1 colorless. And I liked it in my ninja decks because it would bounce my ninjas.
Cunning Evasion.
Yeah, thank you. Cunning Evasion. I like that card a lot. I actually picked up a whole bunch of them because I thought it was really good. This is Cunning Evasion, but then also gets you that draw. You know, I'll pay that 1 extra to give me draws on my damage. You know, so I can agree with. I have not played this.
That's a good point.
But I really like this one. This one, maybe I should put it in my Eureka deck. I just don't play Eureka much anymore at this point. But
that's a good point too.
Yeah, so
a lot of good points.
Lots of good points.
One thing I did want to go back to your first pick was Sakashima. I was thinking about it somehow, and in comparison to Roaming Throne, also the thing about Sakashima is it doesn't have to be your commander.
Right.
It can come in play and just copy the best, like an Avacyn Angel of Hope.
Right.
I believe. I think you can choose anything. It's not just your cards,
let's
right?
Let's pull that up really quick. There it
like
is.
that's the great thing about clones is just like you can just pick the best card on the table.
Another creature. Nope, you control.
Yeah, it has to be you control. Feck. It sucks then. I don't like it. Get it out of here. No, it could be just the best card that you have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So just like
It
that
doesn't
flexibility.
have to be. Yep. And then removing that
Generally,
legend
it's gonna
rules
be your
kind of.
general.
Yeah,
but
for sure. All right. My last pick. Oh, I was thinking I was gonna do Tribal Discovery. I'm just kidding. Kindred Discovery. See what I did there? But I already have enough draw in there. I'm gonna say that's a fantastic card. Whenever I play that, because of the when you play that creature type or attack with them, you're drawing a card. It's insane when you get that card out. So I really like the card.
Picking it?
No, I am going to pick one that
Why are you spending so much time on it?
because I really, really like it, and I was hoping you'd pick. We didn't have any overlap. You didn't steal anything of mine. So
that's all right.
I got to pick one that I end up using a lot in blue for protection, and if I don't have white in there, but it's March of the Swirling Mists. Oh, I need to get.
Oh, that's your.
That's my baby, man. I use.
Yeah,
that
I don't like it.
Why don't you like it?
I don't know.
So I like marches. I like to protect my stuff because we don't play counterspells. I always try to have an answer. This one, the cool thing about it is you can discard cards, blue cards from your hand, and it gets to 2 less. This has saved me in multiple ways, either from dying from somebody attacking me by making their creatures phase out, or by saving my creatures from a board wipe or spot removal. So this one, it goes in every single blue deck. Every single blue deck that I play, March of the Swirling Mist makes it in there, unless it has white, because white has somewhat white or green, I guess.
A lot of options.
Has a lot of options. But even if it's in a green, like I think my Hackball, this is definitely in my Hackball deck because, I have the couple with green. It's the mass ones. But then this one also, you can hit so many targets with it. Yeah. So
when I was saying that I don't like it, that's only because I don't know how to play it well. It's always amazing for you.
yeah,
Always. It's always like, fucking shit. Why is this so good for you? And then whenever, like, I'll have it in a deck and I'll be like, this is really bad for me. And so I think the difference between what we're doing and how we're playing, like you know how to play Magic and I'm just making shit up. Like, you know what you're doing. You're doing
dumb.
and so this is a good card. So
yeah, it's not as many, like if I would have picked Kindred Discovery that's in 184,000, this is only an 84,000, but it's an 84,000. That's a lot of decks that use it. Like I said, it's our play style. So that's what I'm going with here, is that our play style deals with not countering other people's stuff, and also being all honest with it. We are the targets a lot of times in our play group. You know, it's like Kill the Smiths, it's the bit. You know, it's kind of the funny whatever. And so my style is completely different than what it was 10 years ago. And it's making sure that I have answers to protect my stuff or from dying. And so this one always makes it in my blue decks. It's, like you said, it saved me more often than not. Like, I can't remember a time where I'm just like, fuck, March of the Swirly Mist. You know, it's always like, hell yes, I know I have this in my hand. And I just have to have one blue up. That's the cool thing, is I can just have one blue up, and people are like, well, he's not going to be able to do anything. It's like, well, I discard this, this, and that. Phase out, phase out, phase out. You know, so it's one of my favorites. So, really quick, well, I do want to hit up our like honorable mentions if you wanted some other ones, but some of the ones from the episode 7 when we did this the very first time 7 years ago, we had Jin Gataxias on there, we had Leyline on there, Mystical Tutor. So we had tutors at that point, I guess.
Oh, we were jerks then, huh?
Yeah. Consecrated Sphinx, Time Warp, Kira, Great Class Spinner, Bribery, Expropriate, Tidespout Tyrant. But
we used to have 30 cards on this list.
We had a lot.
And just had every fucking good card back then.
Cyclonic was a overlap there. Propaganda, Fate Spinner, Rhystic Study, another overlap. Whir of Invention, Mind's Dilation, Ponder, so that fits in kind of the Arcane Denial. Oh, we did counter right there. That was on there because, well, we do have another counter coming up, but that's a fair counter. You're making people draw. We're fine with that one. Thassa, Jace, Muldrifter, Snapcaster, Pongify, Curse of the Swine, Cryptic Command, Mystic Confluence, Omniscience, Tezzeret, Spellskite, there's our other one, Rite of Replication, and Empress Galena. Yeah. So did you have any others that you wanted to mention?
All right. Probably a lot that have been newly printed since 7 years ago, essentially. But basically my list that was not, that neither of us picked, was Urza, Lord High Artificer.
Yep, I had that on the list on there. Yep.
Yeah, that's the best ramp card in blue, in my opinion.
I was surprised you didn't pick that.
What?
I was surprised you didn't pick that.
I just know people hate it, so I get that. Displacer Kitten, Thassa's Oracle, Mystic Remora, Windfall,
Mystic,
Propaganda, that's old school, both of those. Hullbreaker Horror, and Consecrated Sphinx.
Okay.
Those were the rest of my list.
Yeah, I had Mystic, Urza, Leisure, we already talked about that one. Propaganda and Consecrated. That wasn't said, so that you said it just now. So yeah, we had pretty much similar there, but it's funny to see 7 years how different our styles are, you know, because it's like I'm looking at these, I'm like, oh, a lot of these are garbage. I wouldn't play with these, or they're douchey, you know. We don't play. That's not our play style anymore. We do want to hear what your guys, if you had to pick 5. Your favorite 5 cards, like the core cards that you're like, okay, blue decks. Every blue deck needs to have these. Put that in the comments below. We want to hear what you guys have, like what you use, why it works.
It doesn't have to be the game changers, as you saw. I probably did a little stretch on Grazlax, but it's something that's cool in a lot of my decks.
Hey, it's kind of probably the same lines of my March of the Swirly Mist. So it's something that I like to use, you know, a lot of times. So
one thing before we move on, can I do another gameplay thing? That was, we were both involved in this one, the 6-person at the end of the night.
Sure.
Guy was playing, I don't even know, it's the Grixis one from Commander Legends, Baldur's Gate, and so what it does is, if it's targeting one player, he can tap his commander and make a copy of that spell for each opponent that it could target. And he bribered read
Oh, that's right.
somebody
Yeah.
and copied it for everybody, all 5 of us.
That's right. That's right.
You got like an Elish Norn, Massacre Worm.
Oh, that was because then we stacked it up because then I gave him
Yeah.
Massacre Worm and the Elish Norn, and I was playing my Crow Rendma deck, so I was like,
Yeah.
wipe it so then everybody loses life, and yeah, no, that was pretty
I think
sweet.
it killed 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
That got a little bonkers.
Yeah. It was funny. I like how he did it. He goes, what's your best card? You go search for it. You know your deck,
Yeah.
and then give it to me. And then when I think it was Tad had Elish Norn, and he's like, or somebody had Elish Norn. I was
think
like,
it was Tad.
oh,
Yeah.
Elish Norn. Well, let's copy that with Massacre Worm.
Essentially, yeah.
And he's like, hell yeah, let's do that shit. Because then, like you said, I think it
Yeah.
wiped somebody. So, yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, see, the night was so long, and there was lots of adult beverages that I started to get to be a blur that I forgot about that stuff. So, all right, let's move on to our last thing here. We got to get to Stump the Smith Savant. And you did not get stumped last week, so Lowry, you get the original.
Yay, every other. This one will go poorly.
It's time for everyone's favorite game show, Stump the Smith Savant. All right, if you guys don't know how this game works, I'm going to read the flavor text of a card, and Lowry is going to try to guess the card by asking yes or no questions. Every yes will hear this.
Hello, boobies.
Every no will hear this.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
Gets up to 5 wrong guesses before he's considered stumped. He gets up to 3 clues. If he can get everything about the card but can't get what the card name is, he will get the initials of the card. If he has a clue left over, he'll get a bonus clue, which should help give it away. Card has to be at least 2 years old and at least 10,000 EDH rec deck. So we added that little stipulation there. Every 3 weeks, we add a card to the ante. The beginning 3 weeks, we have a foil proxy. This one is made by my son Zeke. He made the little moth there of the Ink Moth Nexus. And we are on week 2. So once we get to week 4, we will add a card to the ante. And once we get to week 7, if Lowry can get there, we'll add Ragavan, thanks to donated from Tommy Olson, one of our listeners. So yeah, the way you guys enter is if you're a patron, you just message me on the Discord. If you're not a patron, you can play along too. You just need to email us.
And again, right now, you have a really good chance of getting picked. There is low numbers.
Yeah.
We might just run out and never give away the Ragavan.
Yeah.
That's
then we just pocket the Ragavan. So make sure you guys enter. If the card, if you're not sure, like you're like, I don't know if this one's been done, I'll let you know. Be like, oh yeah, we did that one, blah blah blah. Because I have a spreadsheet of how many we've done. We're hundreds and hundreds at this point, but don't feel nervous about sending something and I'm telling you, no, we already did that. Because then you can just email and get us a new one. All right, so I have eliminated the chat. Chat can play along, see if you can get it before Lowry does. Lowry will get up to 20 minutes, and I think that's it. Oh, Roberto 7 is our stumper. Lowry, your overall record is now 110-41. This is round 41, week 2, and here we go. In the gathering, there is strength for all who founder.
One.
She can't even read.
Renewal for all who languish. Love for all who sing. Song of all, Canto 642. Is it founder? Founder. Okay. In the gathering, there is strength for all who founder. Renewal for all who languish. Love for all who sing. Song of all, Canto 642. And let me get that timer up.
all right. So they normally, whenever I see like Canto, I want to say that this is like something doing with like Sarah and or Yawgmoth, like back in the Urza Saga days. Song of All feels like it's including everybody, hopefully. So I'm going to guess that it's probably white of some sort. That's where I'm at right now. I want to see like. So what is it? If I say this is like Dominaria / like pre-time spiral. Can I get an answer on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so is this pre-time spiral?
Hello, boobies.
Yeah, I'm pretty close. Is this... There's one. For some reason, this is kind of sticking. Okay. In the gathering, there is strength for all who founder, renewal for all who languish, love for all who say, for sync. I think this one gains me life. I believe it's probably an instant, 3 colorless and a white. Is this a non-permanent spell?
Hello, boobies.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Is it white color identity?
Hello, boobies.
You're just getting
For
lots
sure
of
that's
boobies.
what it is.
You're getting lots of boobies. You're not even getting any clues at this point.
I'll take a first clue though.
Oh, you didn't want to keep
please.
swinging until you got something wrong?
No,
See
it's
if you
okay.
can do
I can
it.
move.
See if you can do it.
You want me to keep on
Yeah,
going?
I wanna see if you can do it.
Okay. Is it an instant?
Hello, boobies.
Does it involve gaining life?
Hello, boobies.
3 colorless and a white?
Hello, boobies.
All right. So does it gain you 2 life per creature in play?
Hello, boobies.
You got it. All right.
Is that everything?
Yeah, the initials
Okay.
are C. C.
That's it?
Yep, just C.
Yeah, so this is C.
There's nothing I
C.
can give you for like let's see. I'm gonna have to get.
You're gonna give me no. So like, since I don't have it, what I can do in my mind, do I have that extra clue since I didn't go to the third?
Yeah, you get a bonus clue. So
Yeah, the bonus.
I'm gonna try to find something right now because I didn't do it because I was like, oh, he's gonna get this card or not get it, but you know, I was like, I think he knows
Right.
this
I mean,
card.
I haven't looked at this card in a decade.
I can tell you,
It's
I have.
maybe since
You-
Masters 25.
You've seen it. Oh, I'm delaying because I'm searching. That's why my computer. I have because I played it in Will. Like that's the funny thing is I've played this many times. Let's see.
Okay, C. Consider no. It's not Canto. It's not Crescendo.
Okay,
It's
I
not,
can. When you want the bonus clue, I can.
Concentrate.
The synonym for this would be assemble.
I don't know anything about cinnamon.
Wah wah wah. Yeah, Bill from Woodbury got it too. Yep, he's getting it at the same time as you. He said, "I know this card. Lowry does too." He said it's a menace.
I'm yelling at me, Bill.
And Popper.
Bill from
ADH.
Woodbury. God damn it. Okay. What was that bonus again?
The synonym is assemble.
All right, so I had to make a little bit of association, but I know that I'm there. It's I had to go congregation at dawn, and it is congregate.
Oh, look at you!
Hello,
you
boobies.
got it without. Hang on, let me get it up there. You got it.
I mean, I got the bonus clue.
Yeah, you got the bonus clue. I was gonna say you almost got it without a single clue besides the
Beautiful
bonus.
card.
Avengers Assemble is what Bill from Woodbury wrote. Good job. Larry.
Almost as fast as a Renshai card.
You know, I will say the one thing I'm a little disappointed with is that my third clue is this card was first printed in Urza Saga. I wanted to just say that.
No, I understand
Yeah.
why and what you
Yeah.
you had to bring it up too. Wish I could say
Get
Urza Saga
the
at any
fuck
time.
out.
I'm surprised that
Urza's
you
for
haven't
life.
developed Tourette's for Urza Saga. Just randomly
And
saying it.
Well, it's funny because every game that we played this weekend, if Yavimaya or Urza's came up, somebody yelled it out. Urza Saga, Yavimaya. It's just like it's just built in. It's
that's
never
been
gonna
happening
go-
for years now.
What? So
That's
year
just
one
people
or year
yelling
two?
whenever they have one or the other.
Yeah.
It's
yeah, it's pretty good.
feels good.
Roberto7, I know you have been quite the stumper. I think if we looked at overall records, he might have one of the most wins against you. But for once, we have not. He has not stumped you. You got one by him.
I don't know why that one came right to me, but
yeah. And one of the clues was the art features angels flying to an ivory balcony in the sky, and all this stuff. I put all this work in, and you go and get it right away. Good job, Larry. Roberto, if you really want to send that sucker in signed, you can send that to us. A couple of those bad boys, and we can get that. Look at Lowry's board.
You'd use that in your will deck, right?
Yeah, it is in my will deck. It's fantastic.
Well, if you're using it, you better use it.
Yeah. So, that's a good point. If you sign it, I will put it in my will deck. I will play with this bad boy. So, again, make sure you guys enter for Stump the Smith Savant. Email us or shoot us a message, or shoot me a message on Discord. Don't shoot it to Lowry. Isn't that just
no?
He's gonna get it.
Don't look at my emails.
No, if they shot you a Discord message like, "Hey, Lowry, this is the stump," then you're gonna lose, or you're gonna win and they're gonna lose. So,
yeah,
you get what I'm saying. All right, cool. All right, gang. Be on the lookout. I'm hoping that this week we can get the first password magic trivia game up. I'm hoping this week. If not this week, for sure next week, and then High Commander will be next. So. Is there any videos that you're doing this week at all? Are we good? Curated.
I'll probably do some spotlights on Genku and Marvin. So 2 of them that should just run really quick, like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna kill those decks.
Cool.
Done with them.
All right, gang. That should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks to 7 years of CommanderSmiths. Woo! Cheers.
Boobs, some bunkers for honkers.
Thanks.
I love boobs. Thanks for the memories.
Oh, yeah.
I love boobs.